First I'll chuck up the material, and I just lightly chuck it up so that it's holding it enough so the material is not going to obviously fall out of the chuck, but I can still tap it with the dead blow hammer here to knock it straight, get it running true. And after I do that, I'll come through and tighten up each of the jaws. In this next clip, you'll see me facing the front of the material here to get a nice true face, and then I'll start to shape up the body. You'll see that here in a moment. And really all I'm doing in this first step is kind of just establishing the size of the body, and from there I'll slowly start to shape it up. And you'll see me do a lot of tool changes back and forth that may seem unnecessary, but with a manual lathe and such a small uniquely shaped item such as these tops, it's kind of necessary to go back and forth and jump between tools like that so that I can really get the shape that I'm going after. And as I turn down different parts of the body and it gets thinner and thinner in certain sections, I need to go back and retouch certain areas that maybe I left behind, and I wasn't exactly sure how I wanted to shape them yet, but as it starts to take shape, I can kind of see it in my mind, more of what I want the top to look like. And so that's why you'll see me swap back and forth from tool to tool so much. Thing I'd like to point out right here is you'll see me turn the angle of the tool quite a bit coming up here as I cut the top side and underside of the top, and that's something that you can do very easily with a manual lathe like this and really get the tip of the tool exactly where you need it just by turning the lathe off, moving the tool in to an angle, adjusting it to the right angle where you want it. And you can easily spin the chuck and check that your tool's not going to hit or anything like that. It's very difficult to be able to program certain shapes in the CNC because of that issue, that you can't simply just turn the angle of the tool as you're making the part. The tools, once they're set, and they don't move. So it can making very unique shapes like this very difficult in the CNC lathe. Now here, I've already pre-drilled or spot drilled the bearing pocket, and now I'm going to final drill it. And I've always eyeballed this. I've never measured it anyway. I've gotten pretty good at knowing the proper depth to drill, and I use the same size drill for all my bearings, and it works very well, so I've stuck to it. But you'll see here I'll drill into the pocket and back it out to check it, and I come back in a second time just to finish off and get it to the right depth. Again, like I said, I just eyeball this depth. I have no measurement. I'm not measuring anything on the tailstock as I drill it. I just drill and check and drill again and check again until I think I got it right. Now here I'm turning down the part for the stem, and again, this is all just kind of eyeballed. There's a size that I'm looking for, but I know with my experience what size that I am looking for. For the most part, I just kind of do what looks aesthetically right and that matches with the top. There's no right or wrong. It's all just personal preference and what I think looks good. So you see me take a measurement there. I have an idea of what size I'm shooting for. I'm just checking where it's at right now and how much more, deciding how much more I really want to take off and what I want that final diameter to be. And once I get close, you'll see me kind of clean up that transition area between the stem and the body. Like what? I've gotten pretty good at turning the handles and being able to get the shapes that I want, and it's taken me a long time to get to this point, but it still requires a lot of sanding afterwards to smooth out the machining lines and kind of clean up the shape. You see me apply the patina right here, and I have to go back and reapply in the middle because I tried sanding a little too early while it was still wet, so it started to rub off, but that's okay. And now I'll come in and start working on the top of the stem, and I really just turn it down very thin. I thought it was about to pop off right there, that's why I had my hand there. And once I break the top off, I'll flip it around in my soft jaws that I've 3D printed and finish it off that way. I used to use a needle file and file the top of the stem there, and that's how I would do it. And I would file it by hand and I would sand it by hand until it looked just right. And that process usually took me about 20-30 minutes just to do that by hand. And now with the 3D printed jaws, I'm able to do this in about 3 minutes or so, maybe less. It's made my life so much easier and quicker. I do really love having a 3D printer and being able to do things like this. It's really cool. And the final step here is to press the bearing. And I use this little rivet press that I've gotten. My brother actually got this for me from a garage sale from an old neighbor. And I made the little plastic dies and the copper piece to hold my bearing. I have a few different sizes that I use to fit different length tops. This final bit of this video here is a full-length spin video. So if you guys don't care to watch, then feel free to exit now, but this is how the top turned out, and it actually is very smooth. You'll see here in a moment that it cuts into slow-mo, and I don't really even see it wiggle at all. It spins very smooth. But thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next video.